Okay, I'm gonna make this video as short as possible. 2 days ago I uploaded my first impressions video about the Battlefield 2042 beta, you know, after playing it for a couple of hours during the capture event. And the video in a nutshell is basically, I love the game, it has a ton of potential, you know, the foundation is solid, and if they tweak a couple of things, it could be absolutely amazing. Now, since then, I've obviously played the beta some more, and I wanted to make this video to kind of map all the issues that are known to me that are currently in the beta that need to be fixed before launch. So this is not a video to bash the game, because as I said before, I love it. But after playing the beta more extensively, I did notice some more and other issues that needs to be addressed. So this is just my final feedback video, if you will. Remember, that's the whole point of a beta, to give feedback. I know most people would probably wait until the beta is over, but I decided to do it now. Of course, if you have some issues with the beta that I don't mention in this video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Perhaps some developers are watching and those issues will be added to the list. Also, you can join the Discord, link is in the description, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Okay, so let's begin. I won't be talking too much about graphical errors and graphical glitches, because it's obvious those things will be fixed when the game launches, hopefully. But I will start off by talking about performance. Now, I know that everybody already talked about this, and that performance is also something that will be fixed before the game launches, at least I hope so. But I must point out that this is the first time ever since Battlefield 4 on the PS4 that a Battlefield game has frequent dips under 60 FPS on console. And I'm talking about the PS5 version here, and I know it is a beta, I know, but I'm also talking about all the betas since Battlefield 4 on console. Generally, the game plays great on next-gen consoles, but like I said, I did notice some heavy frame drops and, you know, stuttering issues. But something that's much worse than a bit of frame drop is input lag. Yesterday I played some games on the PS4 version of the game, but you know, still on the PS5, so it runs the PS4 version of Battlefield 2042 in backwards compatible mode, and holy crap, the input delay on the last gen version of the game is crazy. I also asked some other people if that was the case on the regular PS4 console itself, so it wouldn't be some sort of backwards compatible issue, and it's basically the same story. If you press the fire button, it legit takes you like half a second before you actually shoot. So firefights are incredibly clunky on last gen, because you can hardly aim with that much input delay. And another issue is the aiming itself. I noticed for myself, and a lot of other people have said the same thing, that aiming feels very off. It feels like it doesn't 100% correlate with your own input, and that's a big problem, obviously. And I hope this is just a bug and not some sort of new system, because all I want is the exact same settings as I have in Battlefield 5. That goes for aiming on foot and controlling the vehicle. So far I can play in land vehicles no problem, but controls for the jet and the helis are just straight up busted. So please guys, just port over the aiming system you have in Battlefield 5 to Battlefield 2042. Movement itself is still good in my opinion. The fast-paced design comparable to Modern Warfare and Warzone is still good, I like it, but it still feels just a bit floaty. It's hard to explain. Maybe it has something to do with the camera shake feedback or the lag thereof, but for example, when you land on the ground from a high jump, it doesn't really feel like your soldier has much weight, if that makes sense. Now, I'm not saying I want the movement system to be nerfed, because like I said, I actually like the overall design of the movement. It creates a bit of a skill gap, which is good. It's also not overly ridiculous, but it still feels like it's not a finished product. As for the UI, this is also a hot topic currently. I still like the general design of the UI and the hood and stuff, but there are a lot of little bugs that needs to be fixed. For example, as far as I'm aware, there is no danger indicator for grenades. So an enemy could throw a frag grenade near your feet and you wouldn't know. Though I would say that the amount of grenades in general being thrown is way less than Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1, so that's good. Expanding your minimap also doesn't work at the moment. Your callout system doesn't work, so you can't request ammo or health and stuff like that. The kill feed is still kinda meh in my opinion. I really hope they will just give us the option to have the Battlefield 4 kill lock system, because I just noticed, by the way, in the options menu you can actually choose to have the hit markers and kill confirmation sound effects to be the same as it was in Battlefield 1. It's just grayed out at the moment. So giving us options is always good. I can understand that it's not always possible, like the weapon attachment system, you know, some people don't like it, but that's a core mechanic of the game, so that won't go away or anything. But simple UI changes like that should have some customizations options, in my opinion. Another UI issue is the team icon. Sometimes it's very hard to distinguish a friendly from an enemy player. You only have this tiny blue dot above their head, which is okay for far range, generally, but up close it often gets lost and you end up not knowing for sure if that player is an enemy or not, because this brings us to my next point, specialist. Now, I don't mind necessarily the idea of specialists, but the current execution is not how it should work in my opinion. My main problem is that everybody looks the same. A Webster McKay specialist on the Russian team looks exactly the same as a Webster McKay specialist on the American team. I think the solution to this is actually rather simple. The US factions should have some sort of a olive camo to their outfit, and the Russian perhaps some gray or black or whatever. And you know, that's a possibility. Or you can have double the amount of specialist design. So you have a Maria Falk as the medic specialist for the US faction, and then create a new character which looks kind of similar to Falk, you know, the same design without a helmet and the same gloves and stuff, but still distinguishable from Maria Falk, and have that character to be the equivalent of Maria Falk, but for the Russian faction. Let me know down below what you guys think of this idea. The specialist system itself is a tricky one, to be honest, because when you see an enemy, in previous Battlefield games, if that enemy was a, let's say, a support player or an engineer player, you would know that it would not have a sniper rifle, right? Or a medic player that doesn't have anti-armor capabilities. So you would adapt to that information. But in Battlefield 2042, that is completely gone. Every specialist can have a sniper, every specialist can have C4 or a rocket launcher. There is no real threat assessment anymore. Every enemy has basically the same threat status because you can never know what gadgets or guns they are running. So I think it would be a good idea to lock some gadgets and weapon types to certain specialists. And maybe that's even a good idea for a specialist itself. A specialist with a specific trait that gives them access to all weapons. So Webster McKay wouldn't have access to a sniper rifle, for example, and Casper wouldn't have assault rifles, but one specific specialist, a new one in the final game, would have access to all weapons. But then their unique gadget wouldn't be as good as the grappling hook, you know, to kind of balance things out. Could be a good idea, let me know what you think. Another topic that ties into that is the AI. I already talked about the AI in my first impressions video, and when I first played it, there weren't really a problem because, well, they are beyond trash. But after playing a bit more, I noticed two big problems. One is the fact that it's very unsatisfying when you get a bunch of kills and you're really happy with that, only to then realize those were all just bots. It doesn't have the same weight as killing a real player.
Oh, it's all AIs, dude. I'm so sad. Dice!
And the other problem is, yet again, threat assessment. If you have a bunch of players running in front of you, let's say, and some of them are real players and some of them are AI soldiers, you really actually need to focus on the real players first, because they're obviously more dangerous. And if you can't really tell the difference between the AI and the real players, you might shoot the AI first, giving the real players more of a chance to return fire. And that's just a layer of assessment that's kind of silly in my opinion. But again, I just hope that for most servers, in most cases, you won't be seeing any AI soldiers at all. That would be the best thing. Gunplay is still decent, definitely the best out of all Battlefield games so far in my opinion. But I don't know, it still feels like it needs some work because it still doesn't feel as good as it could be. That may be due to the inconsistent hit range, but also because of the bullet velocity. I think they should increase the speed of pretty much every single projectile in the game by like 50%, at least for most guns. If that would create some sort of balance issues for longer range, then I'd say balance it a different way. But overall, I'm still happy with the gunplay. I think gunplay movement overall is the best thing about Battlefield 2042 in regards to upgrades compared to previous Battlefield games. The attachment swapping system is still something I'm not sure about. To be honest, I think it could be good if they combined it with the regular Battlefield 4 system. So, it's cool to have the possibility to swap attachments on the fly, but I kinda miss to have a pre-made loadout that you take into battle. Ideally, they would have the Modern Warfare gunsmith mechanics to really customize your guns, because I still think that's one of the best features in any first-person shooter. and then combine that with the Battlefield 2042 attachment swap system in-game. So let's say you have an M4, you customize your standard build like in Modern Warfare, so you can change the barrel, the stock, the ammo type, and then choose a couple of attachments in 4 categories that you can swap out on the fly in-game like you currently have in Battlefield 2042. I think that would be the ultimate hybrid. And then the map. Again, it's difficult to talk about the maps in this game because we only have the one, but I played the last gen version of the game on the PS4, and on the PS4, so the previous generation version of Battlefield 2042, you get a smaller version of the map. And honestly, even though the player count is half compared to PC and next gen, I actually enjoyed it more because the flow was much better. And the fact that Orbital is a medium-sized map in Battlefield 2042, I don't know, it makes me kind of scared for what the biggest maps are gonna feel like. Because even with 128 players, Orbital didn't really feel super populated. I'm sure this is gonna be much different on other game modes though, but on Conquest, this is generally the way I feel about it. The improved physics are good for the most part, but for things like the jets and the helis and stuff, it feels very weird. Pretty sure this has been addressed already for the final build of the game, but I wanted to mention it in this video for the record. Other than some balancing issues, like the fact that the jets are pretty trash and useless and tanks are completely overpowered in my opinion, I think that's about it for the video. Some general improvements could be ammo boxes or ammo stations near objectives, because as far as I know there aren't any, which was a good addition to the game in Battlefield 5. A better scoreboard, because the current one doesn't show my placing in the match. For all I know I'm an MVP and I wouldn't know. You know, things like that. I know I focused mainly on the negative, but that was kind of the point in this video. This is my general feedback so far. You know, things that need to be improved. But like I said before, I think this game has the potential to be a 10 out of 10. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Again, be sure to subscribe and notifications on. I told you guys I was gonna put this channel into overdrive. A big thanks to all the new subscribers. You can also check out the Discord. Link for that is in the description. And with that being said, I see you guys next time.